changed, Dr. McCarthy, or there's still one that we're missing? Yeah.
Yes.
So we've had 3 meetings. We've got another one right after the new year. I know the hope is that we can wrap up our work and give enough time so that the towns and the school committee itself have a chance to review. The goal being to get this before the voters at annual town meeting in the spring. And I think we'll probably know within the next meeting or so whether that timeline is going to be feasible or not. So if there are any questions about kind of the way things have been going, I think either one of us would be happy to answer those.
Now, my primary question would have been, what's the timeline? And you've addressed that. So I don't have any further questions.
Well, I guess from my perspective, I mean, from what we have from the original agreement to what perhaps the agreement might look like in the future, where are the deltas? Are there any major issues, caveats, deltas, or concerns that need to be addressed in an upcoming agreement?
Yeah, good. Do you want to say something to that?
I could answer that. Once we started to look into this, and Brian did a great job on summarizing, because I had a few notes, and Brian, you mostly covered all of that. But I just wanted to give a little tiny bit of history, that when I came on board on school committee, 2019, that was my second time on school committee. First time was 87 to 90. And in the 46 years having lived in Bolton, we've seen the population increase. When we first moved in, there were less than 2,000 members in the community, and now we're over 5,000. So I remember when I was first sworn in, talking to Pam Powell and saying, do you think that Bolton should have 3 members? We've had such an increase in population. And that was when Pam said that the town of Bolton, and our select board has referenced this too, that was your question, that you had wondered about that. So that sent me back initially to the regional agreement, looking at the fact that every 5 years, school committee is tasked with looking at the certified population of the towns. I'm not talking about the students, but we're talking about representation of the people in the towns. And that was when Pam was very helpful in getting the other town clerks to help with the numbers. And so whereas I had these numbers, 580 or 5,800, something like that. In Bolton, both Lancaster and Stowe had over 6,000. And so what we found out by going back to DESE, Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, was first of all, that there was a formula, and they helped us with that. But they also said, oh, what's the latest version of your regional agreement? And I said 2003. And they said, oh, isn't that interesting? The last one we have is 1994. And so that whole process was a good process, in that I was able to give them the latest version. And although we hadn't gone through the whole amendment process that we do understand completely and thoroughly now, Christine Lynch and Michelle Griffin at the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education said, listen, you're not the only regional district that didn't realize what was entailed in terms of an amending. An amendment is any change. And it certainly is a big change to go from 8 to 11 members, which we were able to do. But even changing 8 to 11 counts that change as an amendment, which goes to the town, our townspeople, and that would be a majority vote in each of our 3 towns to accept, even if we just changed from 8 to 11. So what DESE people said to us was, there are other things in your regional agreement. So not so much deltas. However, if anything, in Mass General Law or the Department of Education's regulations, or even DOR, if there are any laws, and there have been laws and regulations that have changed since even 2003, but certainly 1994, that those need to be updated in our regional agreement. Now, fortunately, we were also told, and DESE had their lawyers look over our agreement, that our agreement is valid, legal, it is overall in compliance. However, inside the agreement, we are not in compliance in some ways. However, the law supersedes our regional agreement. So in other words, if we have something that's antiquated in terms of Mass General Law or our practices, Chapter 70, descriptions, things like that, Mass General Law, has precedence over anything. So if anything is not up to date, that doesn't matter in a sense. We are obliged to correct those places. However, we're still obligated by law. And when it came to having one more member from each town, we were looking, this is representation, one person, one vote. And I know that you're familiar with this because I had presented before. And we're talking about the 14th Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. And so we are now definitely in compliance, which certainly we want to be. And so the rest of the process, and Brian did a very nice job of outlining this. We have 2 meetings planned for January of the RAAAC, and with the hope that we would be able to get through the rest of the review of the regional agreement. I have to say, working on Zoom on close textual work is a challenge. And we've now arrived after 3 meetings with sort of agreement in regard to the members of the regional advisory group, who are diligent, dedicated. I mean, when you see Brian and Lorraine, and we have one great members from the other towns. We're still looking for one more person from Lancaster, but with 8 out of the 9, we can proceed in what we're doing. So the next step will be after the RAAAC comes to agreement that we are finished and we've got the revisions, then it will go to school committee for a preliminary reading. At that time, it will also be open and available to the public, for the public to review. Then it will go back to school committee for a vote. And hopefully that would be a positive vote. And in the meantime, having the district lawyers take a look at that. Once it's voted, it goes back to DESE and they will look it over again. However, since we've already had a preliminary chance for DESE to give us their recommendations, it would seem to me that as long, and I am in close contact with them, that as long as we stay and we've answered their questions as well as any others that we want, that would be pretty perfunctory, it should pass muster. I want to say too that we also have available to us Dr. Maureen Marshall at Mars, and not the planet, but Massachusetts Association of Regional School Committees, and she has been extremely helpful. I do also want to say that I have done a lot of research. I've gone to workshops on specifically back when we were able to go to the MASE, that's the Mass Superintendents and School Committee Conference. That was 2019. We could still go to things in person. I went to a workshop specifically on amending your regional agreement. And so I knew that Mars had consultants. And it seemed that once looking over some of the edits, I thought as an English teacher that I could reorganize this and I could do the edits before we would give it to a regional amendment committee to go back to school committee. But I found that there was much too much for one person to do. And so I thought, well, maybe the consultants could do this, and then they would they could even convene the regional agreement advisory. However, the cost was $15,000, and that seemed way too much. And I have to say that as a school committee, I'm just going to speak for myself, not for the whole school committee, but I know that I don't want to incur any additional costs for our district and hence for our towns. We also inquired of the district lawyers if they did that preliminary work and then convened the regional advisory Amendment Committee, what kind of a cost. It would start at 10,000 and probably go up to 15,000. So back in the fall, I decided to make a motion. I thought about this, made a motion to school committee asking that school committee approve the RAAAC, and they voted for that, and they voted me as the chairperson. So we are, and I am very grateful, Brian, Lorraine, and all the members of the committee for the work that we're doing, because it's a better way to do it rather than have consultants or the lawyers, and we're saving money. And then when it comes time, the next part of what will happen will be that this will go to the towns, to select board, for the warrant, and then after that, hopefully the amendment needs to be passed by a majority at each of the 3 towns. Then that's not even the end. That is incredibly important, because this is the chance for the townspeople to take a look at this and then to vote, we hope, affirmatively. Then those certified votes have to go back to the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education for the commissioner's signature. We are absolutely committed to doing this completely right and making this document something that is readable, understandable, and that we're in agreement of what is said and how our regional agreement governs us. So I wanted to say all that, and I thank you for listening.
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that. So I guess it's a work in progress. So we will we'll wait to hear some further developments. If you need our help with anything, please help us to help you. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Any other
everyone.
questions?
Thank you.
Questions? Thank you.
Happy holidays, folks.
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank you. You too.
absolutely.
Happy holidays.
Bye.
Great, thank you. Next up is a request for the town to accept the lights and batting cages at Memorial Field from the Bolton Youth Baseball as a gift. Michael Gore, are you with us?
I am present. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Great. How's everyone doing?
Best day of my life.
Great. So I'm here on behalf of Bolton Youth Baseball and Softball to formally gift the lights that we installed in 2020 and the batting cages that we installed this year to the town.
Super. I took a look at stuff. It looks good. Gentlemen, do you have any questions? I don't.
No, everything looks good.
Questions?
Parks and Recreation is very grateful for the improvement of the field. Tremendous updates in the past 20, 25 years. It's hard to believe how far we've come. It's fantastic.
That's great.
The lights really have made a huge difference on the field, and it's allowed the teams to play longer into the season and practice later in the evening, especially in the early spring and the fall. So it's really just been tremendous for the town and the program.
Indeed.
Okay, so I will make a motion for the town to accept the lights and batting cages at Memorial Field from Bolton Youth Baseball.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Roll call: Sikansky,
Aye.
Cheap,
Aye.
and Wysocki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Nice
Happy
work.
holidays.
Thank you, Mike.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy holidays. Great. All right. Next up on our agenda is a request for a waiver for dimensional requirements for a proposed pylon sign at 476 Main Street from Country Cupboard. Jane Hoot. Jane, how are you? Good evening. You're on mute, Jane. You got to unmute yourself.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
How are you tonight, Jane?
I'm good. How are you? How's
I'm
everybody?
doing very well. Happy holidays.
Same to you guys. Pretty much, do you have the sign image in front of you?
Yes, we have it. Yes.
Okay, and it's just a little bit over what is required by the town in the bylaws, but it's no bigger than the Bolton Bean sign or any multi unit. place. We wanted it to look nice and we wanted it to not feel flimsy.
Yep.
So
So you're
It's-
saying it's basically the same dimensions as what, as that's a 626 country at the Bolton Bean, salt
Right.
box? Okay,
right. Ours is a little bit not higher in height, but higher off the ground so that people can see underneath. We wanted to make sure that, traffic wouldn't be impeded as they pulled out.
that's great. No, that's super. That's super. Well, no, I'm fine with that. I think it looks great. You folks have done a great job in terms of you've made tremendous improvements in the store itself. You did exterior stuff. I know you just repaved the part of the driveway, and I know that you are also improving the walkway for the other businesses there in terms of the steps. So you've done a fabulous job. I can't say enough in terms of what you've done as far as the community and the upkeep of the place. It looks great. So personally, from the perspective of the sign, I have no problem with that. Gentlemen, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I do. Are we accepting comments from the public?
If there are comments from the public relative to the sign, yes, I'll be happy to, I'll wait for Mr. Keep if he has any questions or comments. If not, we'll open it up if people have, and we need to restrict it to the sign. Jonathan, do you have any questions?
Yeah, just, do you know how much bigger it is than your existing sign?
We
Roughly?
don't have an
There is no
existing-
sign.
Oh, there is no sign. Okay.
No, all these years we haven't gotten to do one out there. Now finally, we're trying to update everything and get it right. So it would have been in, but COVID happened and everything happened. We would have done it, when we did some of the renovations. We're doing the other half of the renovations now, so.
Okay, that's my only question. Thank you.
All right, well, if there are any comments from the public, I'll be happy to entertain them.
Don Cole has his hand up.
Yep. Yeah, I just was curious. You'd mentioned that you guys are seeing what the sign looks like. Is there a link or is somewhere that the general public can see this sign?
Jenny, can you pop something up?
I can, give me just one.
I can hold mine up, but that's not gonna do any good, I don't think.
That helps.
That's actually fine. Yeah. Okay.
I have it up. I'm just trying to share the correct window.
And as Jane had indicated, it's very similar to what we have at 626 at the Salt Box. Very similar to what's in front of I think it's 626 Main, which is the Dr. David's building. There you go.
Great.
I can zoom
I'm
in too.
sorry, some of the type's a little small. Could someone just tell what's, 9'6" in width? Thank you. And 10 feet high. Okay, thank you very much.
Yep.
Welcome.
No.
I do think it was a good observation that you needed to make it high in order for people exiting to be able to see oncoming traffic. That was a
Yeah.
good move.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. It's great. It's certainly line of sight. Absolutely. Any other comments?
Yes.
Please identify yourself.
Yeah, it's Martha Remington. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble getting in so I can speak here. I spoke with Jane today, and she mentioned what she wanted about the sign. It's not 4-7 on the, as on the sign, it's 4-4-1, right?
7-6, yeah, that was just an error with the
Yeah.
person who is designing.
I had mentioned to Mrs. Hood that lately there are some lanterns that are down that they're going to be fixing. And
Martha, excuse me, Martha, please, if you can restrict your comments to the sign.
yeah, I'm
If
not
there are
opposed.
if there are other things that you had a conversation with Jane about, that's between you and Jane, but you need to restrict your comments to the sign.
I want to know if the trees that are missing from that place where the sign is going to be and the lanterns are going to be replaced as they were prior. The fire lane there in front of the store is already too small to really be considered authentic. And is this sign going to be on the remaining land where the 4 fruit trees used to be?
Yes, that's where it will be, right in front of the store. And the fruit trees, there's 1.5 there because the
Right.
years that we had the vicious snowstorms, it just killed it. We will try to keep what we can, but we want to improve it. We will plant additional ones to make it look nice.
And I just found out that that space there between the road and the parking lot at your enterprise is actually a state property rather than a town property. The easement on Main Street between your parking lot and the road. I guess the selectmen must be aware of this. The state apparently owns that easement in front of your business and in front of the gas station over to Route 85.
But the town has the easement.
No, apparently, I think you told me it was the state.
The state owns it.
The state owns it and you have the easement.
Right.
Okay, great. I just wanted to clarify that. Over the last couple of weeks, there have been a lot of Dunkin' Donuts things that are going over to the cemetery frontage. And I know you can't control people leaving their litter there, but this is it's a National Register Historic District, and we want your business to be there and to be successful. But I think sometimes people are very careless about leaving their litter in front of your establishment and over at the cemetery. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha, but it's not germane to the item on the agenda tonight, which is the sign. If you have any comments about the sign, please, you've given them, thank you very much, but we are you're starting to get out of scope of the agenda.
Thank you, Selectman Waisaki.
Thank you. Are there any other comments from the citizens at large that might be on this meeting? Hearing none. Personally, I have no problem with the sign. I think it's tastefully done. I think it's in character with several other existing signs that we have with businesses on Main Street, Route 117. I have no problem with that, and I will make a motion that we approve the variance to the dimensional request for the sign to allow the building inspector to issue a permit for this particular sign. Don Lowe, do we have anything else that we need to approve tonight?
No, you just need to vote the waiver.
Okay, I would make a motion that we vote the waiver for the dimensional signs for the country covered.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank
Roll
you,
call,
Jane.
Sikansky.
Aye.
Keith
Thank you very much.
Aye.
and Waisaki.
Aye. Thank you, Jane.
Thank you. Thanks, Jane.
Thank you, Jane.
Pleasure seeing
Thank
you.
you very
Happy,
much. Happy
Good
holidays.
looking,
happy holidays.
good looking
You
Be
too.
sign.
good. Stay safe.
And
Thank you.
Jane,
Hi,
Jane,
Jane.
you'll still be pulling the building permit for that sign, correct?
Correct.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Have a nice holiday. Okay, I'm gonna scroll back now. Next on our list is discussion with the building inspector, Mike Savigno, on the specifications for accessory apartments.
We are running a few minutes early and Mike is not here yet. He's actually planning on doing this meeting from the kiosk here. So
Okay.
I can let you know as soon as he's in the building.
All right, well, do we want to move ahead, Mr. Lowe, to the next item?
We can if Seth is present. I don't know if he is.
It does not look
I
like.
don't see him.
No, all right, well,
We could move
then
on.
we all can always move on to the most anticipated portion of the selectmen's meeting, which is the town administrator report.
It's been almost a month since the last one, and I can't wait.
Since you did such a nice setup, I won't keep you waiting. First, the standard COVID update. 2 weeks ago, we were at 5 new cases. Last week, I have not seen the numbers for this week. Last week, we were at, as a town, 11 new cases, which obviously is more than double. I do need to say that based on some things that I'm observing, I wouldn't assume that those are 11 unique residences. I think we're starting to see some trends now where there's multiple cases in the same household. Doesn't mean there's not 11 cases, but I think that some of it could be families and not 11 separate residences, just as a clarifying point. And as of last week, excuse me, our vaccination rate for the eligible population, which is now 5 and up, I believe was at 86.4%. So as a town, the town is doing extraordinarily well as far as the number of people that are vaccinated. Still working on how we correctly capture the number of booster shots. Don't have that yet, but we are working on that. But very encouraging numbers from the town, best in the area that I've seen. Next is an update on the Massworks Grant that we were awarded several weeks back. Just to let you know, and this will be kind of a save the date for you for now, I'm working with Representative Hogan's office on trying to create a nice event for this. This is a big deal with securing the $938,000 in grant money, plus the additional $400,000 that Rep. Hogan secured in ARPA money. We're kind of looking at this as a major improvement to the corridor there. And since there's some federal money involved with ARPA, we would like to invite Congresswoman Trahan out, if possible, and some other state level folks to really make a big deal out of this. So tentatively, we're hoping for the Friday leading into Martin Luther King weekend. So if you could just kind of hold that for now. Of course, the select board will all be invited. Other local officials will be invited. We're hoping to get some more state level people out and really make a big deal out of this. So I'm excited. I'm excited to work with Rep. Hogan's office on that. As far as a grant update goes, we did receive a grant in the amount of about $5,700 from Maya that Leslie Case applied for to get more safety equipment for the DPW, additional things like cones and hard hats and many other things like that, but all safety equipment for the DPW. Rebecca Longval, our conservation agent, got us a $2,000 grant to help identify some important species on certain land around the Spectacle Hill Road area. I don't have the listing in front of me, but just to raise the level of awareness with property owners about the types of important flora that they have on their property. And while it's not a grant, while it's certainly not a grant technically, I invite Chief Legendre, I know he was here, I think he's still here, to give us an update on what's happening in the fire department. I think it's best that you that he explain it to you rather than I try to.
Good evening, everybody. So as Don said, it's not so much of a grant, but we were able to secure a new vehicle to us. And it is a replacement for engine 4, which was slated to be replaced 3 years
Whoa,
ago.
whoa, 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 whoa. Are we jumping into select board business right now?
No, we're not. This is something completely different.
All right, because we have a discussion about town's retention of a second ambulance.
Right, but that's not what we're talking about.
All right, what are we talking about now?
We-
Because I don't see this on the agenda here.
It's under the grant update.
Okay, thank you.
we secured a vehicle for free for replacement. It's going to cost the town $0. And this was the vehicle that for engine 4 that we had discussed in the past. So ultimately, this is $100,000 savings to the town. So I believe that's why Mr. Lowe wanted me to bring it up during grants, because we were giving this as a grant or a free securement of a vehicle that we will no longer need to purchase engine 4 replacement. We did secure that under state surplus.
Okay.
Chief,
didn't-
if I may ask, what was engine 4 mainly used for?
Engine 4 was mainly used for brush fires, off-road fires, and for pumping the fire ponds during a fire if we need to.
That's great news.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Thank you for that.
That's absolutely super.
I just didn't want it to fly under the selectmen's radar. And I thought the chief deserved to talk about it himself. He does have some other irons in the fire relative to some grants, but we haven't gotten answers on those yet. But he's working very hard on that.
Thank you.
And unless the board has any other questions for me, that's all I have tonight under my report.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. Lots of good news.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
great.
Chief.
Mr. Savageau is with us now.
All right, well then let's jump back to item 5, which is discussion with the building inspector, Mike Savageau, on the specifications for accessory apartment plans. Mike.
Good evening,
Take it away.
everyone. Can you hear me
Good
okay?
evening. Yes.
Can you hear me okay?
yes.
Okay, thank you. Happy holidays, everyone.
You too. So what's up?
Mike,
You guys called me into the meeting, so I thought you might
Yeah,
have.
I think we had this came out of the last meeting where we had an application for an accessory apartment, and we got a very rudimentary hand drawing,
Absolutely.
which,
Oh, yes.
right?
Looked like a
And-
third
and-
grader did it.
And so it was, yeah. And so it was really, this is what a legal document is now.
No, Absolutely
And
not. I
he
could.
wanted some clarification about, this is a new bylaw for Bolton about what is acceptable and what should we expect? And do we need to do something in order to get the right level of documentation?
Well, I can tell you, I could tell you.
If I may
Good.
though, Bob, I'm sorry, before Mike starts. I don't want to bifurcate two issues. What you saw at the last meeting was not part of the new bylaw. It was part of the accessory apartment bylaw, not the separate detached in-law apartments that that the town recently passed this year. So I just want to make that clear.
Right, no, I understand that. I'm sorry, I did confuse them, yes.
But I can answer that. And no, we do not generally see those type of hand drawings. What happened there was that permit was from the past building official that was here about 14 years ago, Frank. And so what had happened was the gentleman did an addition under a permit. I went and did my inspection. And at that time, I think I might have done the rough inspection, and the gentleman had a conversation with me. And he was talking about, yeah, we'd like to, maybe make an apartment or something. I said, well, while bylaw does allow it, you can have an accessory apartment. And I started giving him the parameters, because when I went in, it may have been either at the finish, because I noticed that there was a little L-shaped kitchen. And I said, well, what's this? Because that permit was so old. The permit had to be 14, 15 years old, and it was never closed out. So, and I said, well, we do allow it. I said, but you got to do these procedures, no more than 1/3. I gave him all the parameters of the existing bylaw. So he submitted to put it in front of the selectmen. I never saw the plan. He submitted it to Jenny to bring in front of your meeting. I finally saw the plan after you guys kicked it back. I never saw it till it got kicked back, and I was like, I don't blame him one bit. So generally what we get is a scale drawing that usually is part of the main permit. Now, when we do receive the accessory apartment, the ones in the old bylaw, right, that attached to or within the primary dwelling unit, those there generally have the scale to them. It's been, we missed it for years that it had to come in front of the selectmen. And I know it happened in Lunenburg too. They always said the accessory housing units in Lunenburg had to be recorded. So 20 years ago, when I was the full-time building official and got the job, it was one of those things that got overlooked. And when I went in, I said, hey, we need to, this has to be recorded. And my secretary at the time, who had been there 30 years, said, no one's ever recorded one. Okay, whatever. So yeah, we do miss things. That got submitted after. We do not take plans in like that unless somebody's building a shed, literally. So yes, you're gonna see scale drawings, part of the plan. I'm telling people now that they have to highlight the section. If it's within or attached to, they need to highlight that section. They need to do the square footage calculation of the living space for you, and they need to give you the square footage of what the accessory housing dedicated space will be. That way, when you do your review, those will be very clear. And I have to thank Jenny for catching the fact that we missed bringing some of those in front of the selectmen for many, many years. And also, she's been very helpful in viewpoint on correcting some of these oversights that we don't see because of the new program. But absolutely, you will not see those. You will see a scale drawing that will represent very clearly labeled the whole 9 yards.
Mike, that applicant was actually in earlier this week, so Jenny has to resubmit. Maybe you could take a look at it before you leave tonight.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question. That person is gonna resubmit that.
Yes.
Yes,
He already did.
submitted this.
Okay,
They submitted
excellent.
this on, they submitted this on Tuesday. It was too late to make the deadline for this meeting. So they are on the January 13th agenda.
Okay,
Great.
Okay, and any more questions?
No, I think we're good. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mike. We
Okay, I
appreciate it.
appreciate it. Oh, just can I
Thank
say just one more thing, Stan? If I-
Sure.
I had mentioned to Valerie, the planning director, that what we may want to start looking at, the town may want to start looking at a bylaw relative to the storage containers. I know that you've contacted me personally, Stan, on a couple of storage container issues on Hudson Road. Those are those, looks like a tractor trailer bed. Now, those should be temporary in nature. We have seen a couple of them pop up. There have been a couple that have been in town for a long time, but we're starting to see them come here and there. So maybe in the next year or so, you guys might want to talk to the planning board and maybe get something put together
Yes.
that regulates commercial storage containers, similar to the roll-off dumpster cans.
Yep.
That way you don't have people using these pods and they use them as garages and things. And we
Yeah.
can make them temporary in nature, like the trailer bylaw. That way we can control them more. And when they're in violation, I will have something to hang my hat on to get them removed and so there'll be a process to do that, but that's something we should start thinking about.
No,
You-
thank you very much. We appreciate that, Mike. Yes, I think a future agenda item, we'll discuss that, maybe bring in the planning board to codify that
Perfect.
and get a bylaw or make an amendment to some existing bylaw to deal with that. Thank you
Perfect.
very much.
Yeah, that'll help in the future. Yep.
Absolutely.
Town
Thank you.
looking good. Keep the
Thank
town
you.
looking nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay. All right. So do we have anyone from Dillis and Roy for the catch basin?
Yes, sir, I am here.
Great. So we will now do up the agenda item number 6, request from Dillis and Roy Civil Design Group for approval of the replacement of the Berlin Road catch basin.
Well, thank you. For the record, I am Seth Donahoe with Dillis and Roy Civil Design Group. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Woods at Farm Road. A comprehensive permit project that was approved by the Board of Appeals. It's currently under construction. It's located just southeast of the Farm Road and Berlin Road intersection, identified as map 3C parcel 72. We are here before you tonight. There were 2 conditions in the comprehensive permit that requested the select board approval. During the permitting process, it was noted that there is a failed catch basin within Berlin Road, and the applicant has agreed to replace that should your board approve. The replacement and the plans for this was subject to a peer review during the comprehensive permit process, and that was approved by the peer reviewer. And the other item was a existing yield sign that's located on Farm Road as you enter onto Berlin Road. Police chief had requested that we replace that with a stop sign, and that also required this board's approval. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to address them. Otherwise, we respectfully request your permission to proceed with those items.
I'm fine with both.
The information we have from Mr. Heglin, our DPW director, says that the work shouldn't be done when the hot patch plants are closed. Is this work going to be done in the spring, or is it something that you think you're going to get done in the next couple of weeks? Because I don't really know the asphalt plant schedule.
The asphalt plants are still open. And so this would be something that the applicant is ready to do immediately. And he's spoken with the DPW director on that. Should conditions change, then yes, he would have to wait till the spring, but the intent is as soon as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't have any other questions.
No.
Do we need one motion or 2 for these items?
I would say that you could do it as one motion that contains both items.
All right, I would move to approve the replacement of the catch basin at Berlin Road and Farm Road, and the replacement of a yield sign with a stop sign at the same location.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Seth.
Thank you very much, Seth.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right. Next up, item number 8, select board business. Do we have any public service announcements?
Yes, I do. This spring marks the end of my second term on the select board, and I will not be running for re-election. I wanted to get that information out so that possible candidates have a few months to think about the position and running. In the last 5.5 years, my business has grown and I need to spend more time on my work. So that's, the primary reason. I'm very proud of the work we've done over the last 5.5 years. And I want to thank Don Lowe and Jenny Jacobson for their help along the way. There's a lot of mentoring that goes on, especially in the first term. So I really want to thank Don for that. He puts a lot of work in. And I also want to thank Linda Day for, Jenny's predecessor. She was also, wonderful help and a great presence like Jenny is. So, yeah, Thank you.
Thank you for that, Jonathan.
Thank you, Jonathan.
And thank you for your work.
Yep, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Any other public service announcements? No, I see Bob shaking his head.
Nothing.
Okay, folks, you need to get vaccinated. It's very important that you get vaccinated. It's unless you have some allergy, there is no good excuse or bad excuse for not being vaccinated. Bolton should be close to 100% by now. There is no excuse for that. So please reconsider, get vaccinated. This is the only way we're going to stop this thing. So thank you very much. All right, next up, review and approve the 22 liquor license renewals. All right, Jenny, can you pop up on the screen what we need to see?
And just as a reminder to the board, you can vote the respective licenses as a block or a slate. You don't need to approve them individually.
Yep. There we go. So the licenses, I'll read them off. Common victual licenses, Colonial Candies, 74 Sugar Road, Bolton Beans, 626 Main, Subway, 476 Main, Great Brook Farms, 356 Main, Neshoba Valley Spirits Limited, 92 Wattaquatic Hill Road, Fatini's, 544 Wattaquatic Hill Road, GUI Inc. doing business as Classic Pizzas 3, 1076 Main Street, Dunkin' Donuts, 476 Main, Bolton Springs Farm, 159 Main Street, Davis Farms DBA Bolton Orchards, 125 Still River Road, and the International Beverage Company, 159 Ballville Road, with the asterisk that we need to get the supporting documents from them contingent on giving them their approval. So are we going to do all of them or just the first group?
I would do all of the common vics, and then separately you can do all of the alcohol.
All right, well, I've just gone through the common vics. Any questions?
Nope.
I have a
I
motion to
move
approve.
to approve the common vittler licenses with the note that the international beverage licenses are contingent upon receiving the proper documentation.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Great, aye.
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
and Waisaki.
Aye,
Thank you.
okay. Do we want to scroll down to the next group? Actually, I'll do that myself. Hold on. All right, so now we have for alcoholic beverages licenses, Fortini's Restaurant at 544 Wattaquatic Hill Road, all alcoholic beverages, Neshoba Valley Spirits Limited, 92 to 100 Wattaquatic Hill Road, Pharma Series pouring permit, 19H for distilled spirits, wines and malts, Neshoba Valley Spirits Limited, 92 to 100 Wattaquatic Hill Road, Pharma Series pouring permit, 19H for distilled spirits, wine and malts. Dagnall's Liquor, Inc., 25 Forbush Mill Road, package store, all alcoholic beverages. Bolton Bean with the asterisk, being the required documentation. Restaurant license, wine and malts, and the Bolton Country Cupboard, Inc., 476 Main Street, package store, all alcoholic beverages.
My apologies. I'm just noticing that I have Neshoba Valley Spirits in there twice and the International not at all. So if you could just add the International in and you'll
Isn't
have
the
a complete
international at the
list.
top of the second page?
Yeah, isn't it? It is.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah,
Okay.
International Beverage Services Company, LLC, 159 Ballfield Road, restaurant license, all alcoholic beverages, as well as wine and malt beverages.
And doesn't doesn't Neshoba have 2 locations, so they need 2 permits?
You mean international?
No, Neshoba Valley Winery.
Neshoba has,
Yeah, they have
had-
to.
Yeah,
They-
they've,
they don't this year. They have in the past.
Okay.
This year, they have consolidated to one that encompasses both addresses 92 and 100 Wattaquatic Hill Road, and it's a farmer's series pouring permit. for,
ABCC has,
spirits.
ABCC has deemed it to be one premises, sorry.
okay.
All right, then we have the International Beverage Services Company LLC at 295 Wilder Road, restaurant license, wine and malt beverages, and Great Brook Farms, restaurant licenses, all alcoholic beverages, 356 Main Street. So we have Bolton Bean, Asterisk International, both places, and Great Brook Farm, with contingent on getting all of their documentation and fees and completion of inspections.
And
Okay,
I did receive word from Chief Legendre that the Bolton Beans inspections are all set. And I did receive the certificate of liquor liability from Great Brook Farms.
cool. So do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve the alcoholic beverage licenses as noted, and particularly with the noted that several of the establishments have to provide documentation before the license can be issued.
Okay, do I have a second? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye,
Roll call, Sikansky,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
and Wysocki.
aye.
And I will have all of those permits here in the folder to be signed, along with the warrants that are out there as well.
Okay.
And just a note, there's going to be some construction in Town Hall tomorrow, so if you do come to sign tomorrow, just expect some noise.
Okay,
And,
all right then.
Stan,
Next,
Stan signing all of those, or?
is
No,
it,
the licenses are for all 3 of you to sign.
okay,
Okay.
okay. All right, then, next up on a discussion on the select board business is a discussion on the town's retention of a second ambulance. Jeff Legendre, are you with us?
Yes, sir.
Great. Come on down.
Good. So we discussed this about 2 months ago. Since then, I have met with the advisory board, went over the same numbers that I had presented to the board. It was a favorable vote from the advisory board to retain the second ambulance based on the cost of maintaining the ambulance, what we were offered in trade-in, and what we were proposing to turn for revenue. So we would have a backup ambulance or a second ambulance available to the town. I wanted to return to the board with that news and see if there was any other questions, concerns that I could answer for you.
From my perspective, no. I mean, we've talked about that for some time now, Chief, and you know, given the changes and what's going on relative to our ability to have, you know, ALS services and the like, I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
We do have the facilities to store it properly.
Actually, my staff and I have think we figured out we're actually going to be able to keep it in the station with some maneuvering of the current apparatus. So that will be housed in the current station. We will not need the auxiliary building for storage of the ambulance.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
I'm all in favor of it. So
Yeah. Do we need a vote on this, or is it just the consensus sufficient?
I think a consensus is sufficient. I don't think it rises to the level of a vote.
Yeah,
Okay.
and this will be in the budget for next year too, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
They crossed the big, yes.
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I'm starting to get really old, so a second ambulance would be really good.
We'll be ready. We're actually expecting,
Stan, that's for when the parts start falling off and
Oh, they already have started falling off. They already have.
can't just-
They have started.
they
My
just
wife,
can't
my
collect them
wife
all
has
in
a
one.
broom and a sweeper behind me all day long. So-
Thank
I'm
you.
currently aging in dog years, so in 2 years I'll be older than Stan.
Good night, Jeff. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Happy holidays.
happy holidays to you all.
All right, next up is discussion of the statewide opioid settlements participation. Don, can you give us some background on that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I was contacted by the Attorney General's office, had a couple of conversations with them, and essentially we have an opportunity to receive settlement funds from 2 statewide settlements with 3 opioid distributors, Cardinal McKesson and Amasource Bergen, and opioid maker Johnson & Johnson, recently announced by Attorney General Maura Healey. The settlements will provide up to $537 million in funds to the Commonwealth and its cities and towns over 18 years to fund prevention, harm reduction, treatment, and recovery effort due to opioids across Massachusetts. The AG's office is encouraging all cities and towns to join the settlements for 2 reasons. 1, to receive funds for abatement, and 2, to become the more municipalities that join, the more the distributors and J&J will have to pay in the settlement and benefit the Commonwealth as a whole. So the AG's office is asking that we sign on to this. It's basically a class action lawsuit, and there'll be funds forthcoming. And it requires a vote by the select board, but the AG also made it clear that you can designate me to as your signee if you wish.
Okay.
Well, Don, this sounds like free money. So tell me what the catches are.
I'm not so sure there are any catches for this one. I mean, it's we sign on, we'll receive some amount of money that I have no idea how much. I mean, it'll be restricted for how we can use it. But anything we can do to help with the opioid issue, which is in every town, including Bolton, it can only be a positive thing for us.
Right. Well, the thing is, the state's getting the money and they're going to disperse it to the towns. So I think any opportunity for us for the state to get money, potentially we get something, and who knows how much we get based upon whatever parameters they decide. A dollar more is a dollar very welcome in my mind.
Would be great if it was allocated to education at the school, work with EMTs and the police department, educating the community. So I think that would be great.
I totally agree. I just need I need an affirmative vote from the board, and then decide whether you wish to sign it when you're in signing the licenses, or you want to designate me to sign it. Either way is fine.
I move that the the select board approve participation in the state opioid settlement, and that we authorize the town administrator to sign on behalf of the board.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Jenny?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just, I was just
I
thinking,
wanted to see how long it was going to be, Stan.
Oh, sorry. All right, next time I'll just let it wait.
I was thinking whether or not I was going to mention that it's 2 separate settlements. I don't know if you want to amend the vote to be for both of the settlements.
I did mention both settlements in my report.
Yeah.
Okay.
Settlements in their totality.
Yeah,
Okay.
and there
Yeah,
are 2.
I amended to be both settlements.
Right.
State.
Now I'll take roll call.
Second that, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Roll
All
call,
right.
Sikansky,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
and Waisaki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Great.
And designating Don to be the signatory doesn't excuse
Yep.
any of them coming in to sign.
Okay. Well, we always want to come and say hi to you. So it's always a good thing. Next up is to approve the bills and payroll warrants for W22-11, W22-11A, and W22-1. Was it, wait.
12 and 12A.
Well, okay, there's a space there. And W22-12A.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And do we have
Roll-
minutes?
Roll call
sorry,
Sikansky,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
and Wysocki.
Aye.
We have two sets of minutes.
Okay.
We have the minutes from November 18th, 2021. Those had no changes. And the minutes from 11/23/2021. No, I'm sorry. 11/23/2021 had no changes. And 11/18 had a very minor change. I think that was the. Of course, I didn't highlight it.
I think it was
think
the
that was-
firefighter
Oh, thank you.
and the
Yep.
ARPA.
Oh, you know what? I just need to show markup, I think. No, I think I accepted both changes, but yes, that's correct. Officer was changed to firefighter. And I had an additional A in ARPA in 4 places.
I'm good with that.
I'm good.
Okay, I move to accept the minutes of 11/18 and 11/23 regular meetings.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Roll call Sikansky,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
and Wysocki.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next up, we will be moving into executive session pursuant to Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A, for the purposes 2 and 3, to conduct contract negotiations with non-union personnel, the fire chief, and to conduct strategy with respect to collective bargaining, as the chair finds that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the board's bargaining position for the Teamsters Union Local number 170 and the Bolton Police Union Local 286 IUPA AFL-CIO, and to approve executive session minutes, and the board will not be returning to open session. Do I have a motion to approve moving into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Roll call Sikansky,
Aye.
Keep,
Aye.
and Wysocki.
Aye.
Thank you. Give me just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, everyone, for participating this evening. Have a happy holiday if we don't talk to you. Be safe, be happy, be safe. And